Hello. Oh, hello everyone. Hello, welcome to. We are on part 7 of this. I hope no one's in a hurry for finishing this book because it's going to be a very slow crawl. I'm enjoying it though. So, but this is part 7, I believe, and we are reading Healing Wise by Susun Weed. We are also continuing our discussion about dandelions. And I'm going to make an announcement now in case you're watching it in playback. Next week, there will not be a book club. We're not going to meet next week. This coming week, my parents are in town, so excuse me. So this coming Thursday, we won't have this. That's an important announcement that I wanted to make. The other announcement, which I'll make later on, if there, is that we're talking about herbs and herbal medicine and medicine stuff, especially during the second half when we talk about the herbs themselves. And I just want to say that I am not a clinical herbalist, and I am not. I'm a medicine maker, so I make salves and lip balms and all kinds of things, and I work with the herbs. But I'm still very much a student. And I'm also not a doctor. So this is not in place of medical advice. So please, use your judgment and, consult your physician. This is for educational purposes. And we are all learning together. So that being said, I will, we're going to continue. And I think I'm on page 20. I think I read, yeah. So page 20, the Wise Woman tradition says, health, wholeness, holiness is ever changing. In the Wise Woman tradition, health is flexible, loose muscles, quick mind, unlimited curiosity. Wholeness is inclusive, palatable, pliable, expanding to accommodate. Holiness sees the holiness, wholeness, health, and nourishment in all things. So health, from the Wise Woman perspective, includes a lot of people who are considered sick by other traditions. Confinement to a wheelchair, blindness, extreme age, terminal illness, mental retardation, and other disabilities do not disqualify any being from health, wholeness, holiness in the Wise Woman tradition. Resistance clenches the muscles, causes pain. Resistance prejudices the thought, causes isolation. Resistance says holy must be exactly like this or it doesn't count, and the glory fades from the world. Flexible, pliable, and ever-changing, that, says the Wise Woman tradition, is health. And it's a nice thought, because if we have a terminal illness, it's not necessarily our fault. and we shouldn't be excluded from wholeness while we're here on this planet. Or if you're in a wheelchair, that's just part of who you are, and you know, so again, using what is normally considered a weakness as thinking about it as a strength and something to learn from. Every problem, each pain, disability, disease is understood in the wise woman ways as a whole for the entity of wholeness, a portal for the arrival of an ally who opens doorways of transformation, an ally who can protect you, an ally who brings you gifts, an ally who returns your missing pieces, an ally who guides you towards integration through disintegration, an ally of wholeness who accepts all of you, an ally who reminds you the immortality and your immortality. Healing is not done in the wise woman tradition. Health is allowed. Wholeness is nourished. Holiness is acknowledged. The wise woman smiles. The scientific tradition seeks an objective and personal physical-chemical solution to disease. The heroic tradition seeks the cure by suggesting that you create everything, are responsible for everything, and you can make it all better if you follow the rules from now on. The wise woman tradition seeks to understand the personal, social hologram of a disease and to nourish wholeness. The wise woman tradition, wholeness nourishes wholeness. Fractured or isolated substances such as drugs or vitamin supplements create fractured and isolated people, not healthy, whole, holy people. The wise woman herbalist pays attention to preserving the integrity, the wholeness of the plants she uses, rather than preserving the active constituent or any other single aspects. So she's talking about, say, for example, the root turmeric, which many of you may be familiar with, and it has an active constituent called curcumin. And you can find curcumin in your supplement section, which is the curcumin has been taken out from the turmeric root. So there's this whole idea about whether so some people feel like the whole root is the best thing to take because all parts work in synergy, and they feel like that is the strongest and best. And then some people feel like to take out the more active constituents and just take that is better. So it has some scientists, they have a hard time often finding what the active constituent of a plant is. And often when they feel like they have identified it and extracted it, they find that does not work. So of course, there is a bunch of research with turmeric and curcumin. So you can take curcumin and it does work as, at least as far as I know, as well as the whole root turmeric. But there are a lot of other plants that it's important to take as a whole. And this is what she's talking about. So, but if you guys have any experience with taking a whole plant versus an active constituent pulled out of the plant, or just let me know in the comments. Or I did fix the links. All the links were broken, so the link to the Facebook group should work. So if you wanted to pop your thoughts in there, that would be awesome as well. So this concept you are probably familiar with. If not, it's pretty interesting. And I can see that Susun Weed definitely is a proponent of whole plant medicine. I personally prefer that. Although I've both taken turmeric and curcumin, whole root turmeric and curcumin, and I haven't noticed a difference. Although I do take whole root turmeric tincture now. So I prefer the whole root. I think. And I don't know whether it's I like the idea of all the parts working together, or I feel like or it's based on I'm something idea and then versus fact. So I think that a lot of times we don't have the facts about what makes the plants what is the most active constituent of these herbs, because a lot of research hasn't been done on them. But as a whole, I like to use the whole root or the whole plant. Hello, I think somebody has popped in and joined us. Hello, welcome. I am page 21 of Healing Wise, if you have the book. Healing/health in the Wise Woman tradition is concerned more with creating meaning than with creating a particular outcome. Healing health is not dependent on curing or removing the problem, but on making the problem meaningful, specifically by finding the gift and the nourishment that the problem brings. Health/healing, the Wise Woman says, is concerned with the story, the person's story, the family table, the community's table, the planet's myth. When the Wise Woman knows the story, for even a part of the story, in holographic knowing, she can read the storyline. She can retell the story, expose deeper roots of the tale, reveal new meanings in the fable, and create anew the myths. Every personal story has a meaning, both special to the one and true for all. By retelling the story, the Wise Woman weaves wholeness. By exposing the deeper roots of the tale, the Wise Woman grounds health. By revealing what has been broken, the Wise Woman tears holes for holiness. By creating anew the myth, the Wise Woman offers opportune nourishment. This is different from finding the lessons or teaching of a disease or problem. Learning your lesson is a thought pattern from the heroic tradition, which we'll get to. Learning the lesson implies that you will never do the same thing again. This is in parentheses. Never do it again, in quotes, leads to loss of spontaneity, in parentheses. Once you learn your lesson, you get well. You are cured. If you are sick, you haven't learned your lesson. The Wise Woman is implicitly clear of guilt and self-blame, without feeling guilty when she is not clear of guilt and blame, while acknowledging herself as the creator of her universe. Receiving the nourishment of the problem, allying yourself with your pain and loving yourself implies that you're free to continue to have the problem. Well, I definitely still have my problem, so I guess there's more to learn about I have IBS and something called interstitial cystitis that I've been struggling with. And so on days when I have, and sometimes some days are good and sometimes some days are not so good. And so I think there's definitely more to learn. But sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind when you're having pain, but you're like, oh, this means something. I need to listen and do something and change what I'm doing. If possible. I'm going down the wrong road again, or I need to shift course. And because all of my old ways of doing things, they were habits, and right now I'm still working on breaking those habits. But I digress. So, but yeah, allying yourself with your pain and loving yourself implies that you're free to continue to have the problem consensually as a matter of intent. You can choose to die, which is, there's a lot in there. There's a lot in that statement. Something we often never talk about. In fact, I felt like I was sort of choosing to live or die, although like my illness wouldn't have necessarily killed me, but you know, it really brought me pretty close because I wasn't eating and things were not functioning in my body. So I had thoughts, and I'm like, no, I want to live. Darn it. So okay, we are almost through with this part. Got 3 more little paragraphs. Death is not failure in the wise woman tradition. Death may be chosen as a gift of integration and wholeness to self, a gift of optimum nourishment to health, to the family, and larger community. Disintegration of family and self-respect, and the lost opportunity to strengthen community ties by care tending the dying at home is natural when a family member is kept alive in isolation until the family's resources of time and money and good cheer are exhausted, as is generally the case today in industrial nations with scientific tradition approaches to health. We'll also get to that too. That tradition, we'll talk about that. The wise woman tradition can allow death because the wise woman tradition is grounded in change. The only thing certain in change is change. Remember the void? The spiral of life and death is ever changing and unique, flowing through all possibilities. This is the wisdom of the wise woman ways. Do not try to outwit and avoid pain and problems. They can be your means to greater wholeness, to more vital health, to a soaring spirit. They are part of your unique gifts. Fixity is worse than death, counsels the wise woman ways. Keep on stepping around the spiral. What comes next? And so my therapist, I'm in therapy, she often asks me, why don't you just wonder what is going to happen? Because often I think I know what's going to happen. I'm like, oh, it's going to be bad. It's going to be terrible. But like, I don't know. And I don't allow myself to wonder what's going to happen because life is full of surprises. Okay, so we are on page 22, and next in 2 weeks we'll start off on page 22 with the wise woman tradition is both and universe. I'm going to talk about the shadow side. Okay, so we're on dandelion leaf properties and uses. And I had some thoughts on a dandelion inspired by a Facebook post and things going on in my life. But I'm sorry, a Instagram post. But I'm gonna wait, I think, until we have a day with more people. So it's just better with more people. But I am actually going to So this is the Illustrated Herbary. It's a book and oracle card system, and there are herbs. And she has a dandelion section. I mean, there's cards as well, but this is the book, and it's just really beautiful. And this reminds me of the Fool card, you know, of the tarot. And I'm just going to read the what she says about it. Dandelions is perseverance. Dandelion is bold, bright, and sunny. She pushes through cracks in cement and worms her way into the mortar of stone walls. Cheerfully, Dandelion's medicine is perseverance, but not the perseverance of the martyr. Instead, Dandelion is the eternal optimist, like the Fool in the tarot card. She's always happy to set off on a new adventure in hope of learning more and digging deeper. She's not an airy optimist, though, with no grounding in reality. Her roots are strong. She's the shaman and the Buddha, and her message is this: happiness is an inner landscape that has little to do with where you're planted. When you're ready to make your own joy, whatever life throws at you, call on Dandelion. So I think that's awesome, and I just wanted to read that. Oh, did I lose my place? Oh gosh, I lost my place. Yo, my book is totally falling apart. Like I had to tape it, and then it just doesn't fit now because it's. Anyway, I have to get a new copy for this book. Okay, so dandelion leaves and properties. So the main properties that she has, I'm going to write them down. Nutritive, stomach ache, CHIC, PI. Okay, so those are the main properties of the dandelion leaf. They share some of the properties of the root. I feel like we might have covered some of this last time, but I'll go over it because I can't remember. Right, so a nutritive. Let's look up what that one means. Nutritive provides biologically active optimum nutrition in the form of vitamin complexes, minerals and trace minerals, amino acids, sugars, starches, and the resonance of health, wholeness. And then the stomach ache. Oh my God, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Let's see. A tonic to the action of the stomach, nourishes and strengthens. And then a diuretic, which makes everyone pee. That's my short definition of it, but promotes, sometimes stimulates the formation and release of urine. So, and then a vulnerary promotes and quickens the scar-free healing of wounds. So, so those are the main actions according to Susun Weed. So, use dandelion leaves, especially fresh, as a nutritious free food, a bitter digestive, and a real mover in your blood and lymph. She says dose of fresh dandelion tincture is 10 to 45 drops daily in water. Dose of dried dandelion leaf infusion is 1/2 to 2 cups a day, and then dose of fresh dandelion leaf juice is 1 to 6 tablespoons a day. So this is dandelion leaves are a nutritious free food. And if you guys have any like dandelion recipes or anything, or like pictures of dandelions, you know, feel free to post them in the Facebook group. I posted 2 things last week, so that we can, you know, maybe have more of a discussion, share some more of our what we like about dandelions and everything else. So I guess might post some more in the coming week as well on dandelion. Yes, so dandelion leaves are a nutritious free food. You have a nice snack of dandelion leaves. Wash very well, dry half, and put them in a folded towel in a cool place. The other half, chop. So here she is sort of talking as the dandelion. I know you like the numbers, so I'll give you the numbers. We can talk some more about leaves later. So she's, I'm going to list off what she says dandelion is very high in. And again, there's some numbers, but I'm not quite sure of like if it's percentage. So dandelion leaves have a very high amount of carotenoids expressed as vitamin A. And she does do this, 21,000 to 58,000 IUs. So that is a unit. And then vitamin C complex expressed as ascorbic acid. Maybe these are all IUs, I don't know. 33 to 652. Potassium, 397 to 2,757. Calcium, 252 to 4,223. Fresh or cooked leaves also have high amounts of iron, 3 to 29. Phosphorus, 59 to 526. And the B vitamin complex, including riboflavin, thionin, niacin, chlorine, parentheses, essential for liver functions. You also get manganese, sulfur, manganese, silica, very low sodium, potash, I don't know what that is, and vitamin D. And don't forget, so a lot of stuff in the roots are also in the leaves. Right. So the dandelion says, because my leaves are so nutritious, I suggest you eat them whenever you can. But if you need an excuse to eat them, I suggest the last 2 months of pregnancy and throughout the nursing year. And for the anemic, especially around a certain time of the month, don't want to eat. So for the ones who don't want to eat, who don't have an appetite, the anorexic teen or the elders, they find their appetite returning when they eat dandelion. And it says the liver is happy. And we did talk about bitters a lot last week, and this is dandelion leaves are digestive bitters. Dr. Dandelion is ready to orchestrate great happenings in your digestive tract. First, I increase hydrochloric acid in your stomach, which is very good. That will help you digest better, get more calcium out of your food, and avoid nasty tummy aches. Then I'll get to work on lowering your cholesterol levels. I have protesterol, which, don't get me wrong, that's a chance. Okay. Then I'll get to work lowering your cholesterol levels and rebuilding your liver. I don't want you to have any difficulty in digesting fat. We have a lot of parties to go through together. No sluggish liver, no run down feeling for us, no constipation. Here is what you do. You make yourself a dandelion aperitif. aperitif. On the way home from work, you find a place and pluck a few dandelions. I cannot tell you where, but dandelion is everywhere. I know you can find some. You will be careful for dog dew and chemicals, eh? Sometimes sidewalk is safer than lawn. You can buy some nice French white wine and go home, wash off the dandelion leaves, chop them, put them in a glass, and pour the wine over them. Go away for an hour, or better yet, make dinner, which you'll accompany with your dandelion. So, aperitif. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm going to type it. So, I think everyone knows what this is. You don't like wine, you can use water. Pour boiling water, not wine, on the leaves, and then let it sit for an hour. Okay, now you have your dandelion. I'm going to stop. So now your drink would be ready every evening. Big things in store for you. Dr. Dandelion likes to keep things moving. So that's really cool. That's a really easy way to make like a, it's a bitter before you eat. I did not know that. So, yeah, you just pick some dandelions and put them in some boiling water and let them sit for an hour, and then you can, or wine. So that's neat. Dandelion leaves are a real mover in your blood and lymph. I get things going in your fluid circulation. I get your blood going. I make these cells take notice. The leaves of the dandelion are very safe means of increasing the amount of water and blood waste eliminated through the liver and urine. Kidneys and urine, especially to eliminate congestion and fluid swelling. Does that sounds pretty good, right? How do we do it? It's easy. Just eat dandelions and drink dandelion infusions or tinctures as much as you want. But for a while, yes, I like a long affair. Dandelion is the sexy dandelion. That's once I get to know you, Dr. Dandelion will be your ally. I know you use your wise own ways to heal yourself or others with low blood pressure, poor circulation, diabetic, anemia, rheumatic swelling, arthritic congestion, recurring mastitis, premenstrual water retention, and cancer of the breast, liver, and urinary organs. I am willing to help in some emergencies. Make a strong tea or infusion from fresh leaves or dry leaves. After you strain it, drink liquid and poultice with the plant material. Try it with your wise woman ways for healing with fevers, swellings of broken bones, sprains, bruises, mastitis, chronic skin problems, especially swollen and weepy rashes, eczema, and acne. So that's about the dandelion leaves. And so now we're going to go into dandelion flowers. And the properties and the uses are an emollient and a hepatic. And we already talked about hepatic, but I'm still going to read it for people who haven't been here. An emollient strengthens and soothes, usually externally. And hepatic strengthens and nourishes the liver and its function. So it looks like all parts of the dandelion help with the liver function, which is really awesome. So I'll type that in here. Emollient. Hepatic. Okay. And I use the dandelion flowers, and I use them to make an oil with. And I use the oil in my salves for like tense muscles. That's how I mostly use dandelion. Because it makes me pee too much, so I can't take it as a in any other way. Can't use it in any other way. So I use other plants as a bitter. But since I have this thing called IC, interstitial cystitis, it like affects that. So it's just too much peeing for me. But I mean, although it might be good for me to try it again and see if I can work in a little bit more, because I always really need stuff for my liver. Okay, so use dandelion flowers as a beautifier, a pain reliever, and a friend to your heart. Dose of fresh dandelion flower tea is 1/2 to 3 cups daily a day. Dose of dandelion flower wine is 1/4 to 1 cup a day. Dandelion flowers are a beautifier. Why suffer from unsightly freckles, large pores, oily skin, rough chapped skin, windblown, sunburn, insect bites, age spots, tired red eyes, and other untidy evidences of your human frailty? Dr. Dandelion, will be so kind as to help you. Steep fresh dandelion blossoms in a covered container for at least an hour in water freshly boiled. Strain, reserving both flowers and liquid. Put the warm, wet flowers on your face and lie down for 10 minutes. Then wash it all off with the liquid. Do not rinse. Also splash infusion on your skin before you go to sleep. Leave on overnight for best results. Cool. That's cool. Dandelion flowers are a real pain reliever. How can you be beautiful when you are frowning? Let me help you erase your frowns. Go out on a sunny spring day and pick fully open dandelion flowers. Listen to the bees. They tell you which flowers are the best. Put them in your salad. It's good for a smile. Use my golden blossoms to make this bleh. So this is the recipe that she has. I think it's okay. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. I can't. So, 151. I'm on 151. Huh. I am not sure. What is she talking about here? So 151, there's a recipe for dandelion wine. So maybe she's talking about that. I believe so. It's good for your heart, or maybe you'd fall in love. I guess wine would be that. Yes. Use my golden blossom. Steep a handful of fresh blossoms in a teacup of boiling water. Add honey and drink to relieve and heal yourself and others with headaches, menstrual cramps, backaches, stomach aches, and even depression. Make a dandelion flower oil and use your wise woman touch to ease the pain and help those with stiff necks, arthritic joints, sinus headaches, back tension, and weepy sore skins. Okay, so that's about the flowers. She does talk about dandelion sap, which I've never ever used. This is the action of the dandelion sap. Boy, anyone like watching this back and looking at the chat, it's gonna look kind of weird because I've been on for 40 minutes and there is nobody. No one has joined me, so it's gonna look kind of strange with me typing all these words in until you get to the part where like I'm actually talking about them. But So, right, sap. I have to look up. Okay, that word. So it dissolves and absorbs diseased tissues, tumors, and abnormal growths. Okay, so use dandelion sap as an eraser externally. I erase things for you. Just dab the sap and see what happens to warts, corns, calluses, hard pimples, bee stings, old sores, and blisters. No need to wait. I tell you what happens. They dissolve and disappear. My sap is the most potent part of me. There is much sap in the flower stalks and in fresh root or leaf. Just break me anywhere, and I will bleed a healing white sap for you. Dr. Dandelion. Hey, Dr. Dandelion. This is Susun Weed. How about you take a break and let me do the recipes for the pharmacy in the kitchen? You can come back and finish up with fun facts, okay? So now this is the part with the recipes, which unfortunately I can't. But she talks about she's got a wine recipe, a beer recipe, looks like a dandelion salad, dandelion egg noodles, dandelion blossom syrup, dandelion coffee, dandelion bud breakfast, fast flour fritters, stir-fried dandelion roots, dandelion pumpkin soup, dandelion dip, standard greens. There's this oriental soup, worthy winter soup, autumn dish, something called Love the Earth, which looks like a veggie dish. So wow, that is pretty nifty. Yeah, I still haven't figured out how to impart these recipes, except just like typing them out on the Facebook group, or like taking pictures of them and posting them up. So yeah, that kind of concludes our talk about dandelions. We're gonna go on to violets. I'm skipping around trying to follow the path of the, whatever plants are blooming, even though we're a little behind because all of these are like spring plants, most of them. So we're going to, where is the violets? Yeah, we're going to go all the way to violet next time. So, if you have any cool violet things, feel free to post them on the Facebook. If you're using violets, working with violets, eating violets, got any cool recipes, pictures. Where I've lived, they've gone out of flower, but I use the leaf. So, but I'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in later on. So I guess I'm gonna end. So I've got 10 minutes. Something from Instagram, of course. About dandelions. I can find it. Yeah. I'm going to post this in the Facebook group. And it says, and the dandelion does not stop growing because it is told it is wheat. Is it a weed? It is a weed. The dandelion does not care what others see. It says, one day they will be making wishes upon me. So I'm going to leave you with that. And if you guys ever, so this went along with something that has been happening in my life. So I, have suffered from like low self-esteem, and I know it's due to me believing what others have said to me, or that I am. They're like, you're this way, and or you're, and it's happened like repeatedly, and so I've just sort of started to believe it. And but that is how I appear, and that might be how I appear to them. Or maybe that's the box that they're trying to put me in. And up until like this point in my life, I've really been letting people do that. But really that's not who I am. And I think it takes you or a person. I mean, I don't know, like I'm slowly finding more of a sense of self. And so like when somebody says, hey, this blah, 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 and I'm like, no, that's not true. I am this way. I am not that way. And even if they don't see me as the way I am, I know I am that way. And I feel like that is what like the dandelion is. It's like people think I'm a weed, but I'm not a weed. And I know I'm not a weed. And I think that's important. Regardless of whether you are able to shift their perspective, or whether you're able to but I think it's important to know that you're not a weed. So anyway, I'm going to leave you guys with that. And so we're not having this next week. But I will be back. And I missed everyone. I really did. But hopefully I'll see some people next time. And have a good rest of your week. Okay, bye.